Here we are on the majestic River Torrens.
Beautiful.
On the beautiful Popeye Adelaide icon. A couple of mega Adelaide icons right here too. And we almost had the Adelaide jail right in the background. Just like a scene from Alcatraz right here. And we are lucky enough to be, there is one person missing, I believe, or not here.
Yeah, the
Ollie,
Swedish man.
the Swedish man who's concentrating on his own show.
Yep.
But we are here with the Bakers or the Latebloomers plus Clownfish. So we do have a bit of a mixture going on here. Yeah. So Sam, Jess, John, welcome.
Thank you, JP.
And welcome to Adelaide. We're going to talk about a few things, but you're here for one reason at the moment, I'm assuming. That might be the 2021 Adelaide Fringe.
Yeah. Oh, I was here for Popeye.
Oh, okay. We've just mixed it up with you. I'm
I was
sorry.
waiting for the bloody captain, mate.
Well, the captain is here, and lucky enough, we're safe here. But Fringe is on. You guys are part of the Fringe. You've got a total of 4 shows between you.
Yeah.
So I do want to go into something really that a lot of people, if they're listening now and it's 20 years away, well, the podcast's been very successful. Nice. So, but if they are, they're going to understand there were things called lockdown. And you recently, I first met you in Adelaide not long ago, then you were off to Perth for a big show. Yeah. And then while you were over in Perth, you got caught in a lockdown.
Oh my God, yeah. After 11 months of no COVID in Perth, it's like they hadn't even, there was no pandemic existing in the world. It was so free, and the audiences were loving it, right into it, and then bang, lockdown. One case of COVID.
So it was literally overnight that it occurred?
I think it was in the morning, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just
got a phone call.
11 o'clock in the morning.
So were you all together?
No, we were living separately, and we were about to open up my solo show, Manbo. They were opening up Attenborough and His Animals, and Ollie was opening up his solo show. And it was our world premieres for our solo shows. And then Ollie's partner, Britt, rang me and she said, "Did you hear the news?"
Oh,
I was like, "What?" She goes, "Lockdown." I was like, "No!" What do you mean? We're in Perth, the safest place in the world.
Without well, other than Adelaide. Perth is another country.
It is.
Let's face it.
It is. Yeah.
So it's that far away that it takes hours for us to fly anywhere, and that's unusual for us in Australia.
It is. Yeah.
So who was over in Perth with you?
It was us 4, yeah.
It was us 4, yeah. Over in Perth, yeah.
And Britt, who directed Ollie's show, the Baraque.
Us 4, and then Britt's Ollie's partner with Frank Theatre. So she's been directing Ollie's show, and then we met John over there. Actually, he was in quarantine.
Yeah, I was back in England this year, so I got back to Perth, did 2 weeks in quarantine. Yeah, got out, a week of shows, and then back into lockdown.
Yeah. so you were based in London, or?
Yeah, in London. Yeah.
So I'm assuming the lockdowns there were a lot tougher than we had here in Australia.
Yeah, longer, I guess. Yeah. Or Melbourne obviously had a long one over here in Australia, but yeah.
Oh, no one talks about that.
And but of course it was winter over there, so it was a bit more grim. So it's nice to be back in the sunshine, in freedom. Yeah.
So I'll start with you, John, because I know the least about you.
Oh yeah, man of mystery. Yeah.
So how did you become involved, and what show were you involved with Sam? And you've got another show with Jess as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So 2 shows I'm in, and we all met. Where we started was in Paris, where we all studied together at drama school. A school called.
So what was it called?
It's called the Jacques Lecoq School.
You should have seen the reaction my mum and dad had. Mum and dad, I want to go study in Paris at Lecoq. And they're like, "What? Really?
What the fuck are you studying?
Did you say? You've already got one, mate. You don't need to go bloody study it."
Did he actually say that?
Probably, yeah. My dad says a lot of shit. So yeah, it's called École Jacques Lecoq. Yeah.
Well, it's better than Suck the Cock.
It is better than that.
Yeah, we didn't go to that one.
No, that's in Germany. Yeah. This is a good start, isn't it?
This is great material.
So So we're at Le Coq.
Yeah. Look, you got to say it in a French accent and it sounds less severe.
So we're at
Le Coq.
Le Coq.
Le Coq.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Rooster. It's a
Le
rooster.
Coq.
The cock, yeah.
Yeah. So you met at Le Coq.
Yeah.
And were you studying the same thing? You happen to be in the same campus? What goes on? How does actually? Were you studying theatre or acting, or is that all the same?
All kinds.
Fill me in.
Yeah, we studied all kinds of things. Yeah, the school's got a big focus on movement and improvising with the way you move, where your body moves, physical stuff.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of that. A lot of what do we do?
So is that drama?
We did scenes. Yeah, we did scenes from plays and stuff, but also we just did sort of moving like, wind or water or like honey or metal or like animals. Moving like a bear, like a lion.
Your traditional drama school, like you'll get a script, right?
Yeah.
Or you analyze a script and you'll go through the emotions of the script and you'll break it down and then you learn a play or something like that and you get a character and all that kind of stuff with a traditional drama school, whereas Le Coq is like a blank canvas. It's like a blank canvas. I'm just going to say Jacques. Jacques.
He'll get used to it.
You'll get used to it. Yeah. Took me a whole year. Yeah.
And then I left.
And so it's like more of a physical approach to everything and devised theatre.
Yeah.
So we work in groups from scratch with an idea, a pure idea, like very simple. And they give you have to make a play every single week. You have 4 days to make a show and then you present a 5-minute piece at the end of the week. So that's their big shtick, is like you got to create work. It's creating new work, fresh work. Yeah.
So you pay to go to that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's like it's a
thousands of
Believe it or not,
euros.
mate. Yeah, it's quite a lot of money. Yeah.
but it's where you learn what was one of the most important things you learned from that, John?
Most important things.
Or most useful thing you learned?
Well, it's like it's a bit like you learn a kind of way of looking, like an eye, bit by bit. You learn what to look out for, what works, what's good and what's not. So, you get a sense of timing, a sense of what to do with your body.
Rhythm.
What works. Yeah, absolutely. Rhythm is really important, yeah. So you gradually over, class by class, you develop this sense, which obviously goes into our shows.
So were you in the same, so Jess, were you in the same class as this?
So not in
same.
It's the
same school?
same. It's one small kind of private theatre school. So we all do the same stuff, but in first year there are 2 groups, so it goes for 2 years. There's a group A and a group B in first year, and every year group A have a terrible time and make rubbish theatre, and group B have a great time and make great theatre.
Yeah.
These guys were in group B.
Picked up on
I
that.
was in group A.
Oh, of course. Oh, you're in group A.
I was in group A, yeah, the terrible one, and we had a terrible time. But we were studying all the same things, but it's an international school. So there are people from all over the world, and rather than an audition at the beginning, after the first 3 months, they send some people home. So you have meetings with the teachers and they say, you shouldn't be here. You can go home now. And then after the first year, they send 50% of the students home.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then the rest
so
of
that's
us
a
get
massive
put
cut. So
together.
you
They halve it into one group.
so it goes in from A and B, then go into the one group.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
So I was one of only a handful of people from Group A to make it through to second year.
Whoa.
Yeah. But so there are 2 different groups to start with, but
So
we do the same stuff.
So Sam,
Yeah.
you weren't there, were you?
Le Coq. No, I took my dad's advice and realised I had one and stayed in Adelaide.
So you're all together. You come back to Australia.
Yeah.
And then you two sit there and go, okay, I've got something going on here. Or how did you get to work together? Were you working together in the UK or did you work
We actually all moved back to Bristol.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Jess is from Bristol, and after we graduated, we were like, where is good to go? Jess didn't want to go home, and I said, I want to go to Bristol. Kind of.
Yeah, for some reason, these guys were set on moving to Bristol.
It made sense because London was fucking expensive
London's really
and
pricey.
Is
huge.
Bristol like whereabouts is Bristol?
Bristol's like Adelaide.
Okay.
It's great. So it's small and manageable.
Yeah, it's much smaller than Adelaide and it feels much bigger.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot going on there sort of in the arts, a lot of theatre and kind of new companies. It's quite...
Yeah, it was a good place for us to sort of start out as a new group making new shows, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they're teaching a lot of, like, is there clown work there?
Yeah.
Yep.
At the school.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I wanted to say it. Yeah. Yeah. At the school. Yeah. There's yeah. Well, it kind of culminates to at Leacock. It culminates to clown in the end. That's the final. Was that the final thing we studied?
That was yeah.
Yeah. So you do all this stuff like all kinds of themes that you study, and then the final piece is clown and clowning. But you only do 3 weeks on clown. You know what I mean? But the whole 2 years building up to it, you can use all of those tools in clowning, if that makes sense.
So is it much, because we had a chat with Erin Fowler and she was going to clown school.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, like here in somewhere in Adelaide.
Ah, yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, what happens there? And it's a lot more emotion, a lot more showing visually, physically. Is that pretty much sum it up?
Yeah, it's pretty similar.
Yeah. I think what we kind of learnt that clown was being completely honest with the audience
Open.
and present with the audience.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the
it's
thing
like
I
a
took
real
away from it most.
Sort of openness to, you know, you're sort of opened out to the audience and really receptive, you know. So it's not like a play where you're just playing it and they're watching.
It's breaking down that fourth wall.
Yeah. So if if somebody says something, you notice, and then you like maybe respond to it.
Like in our clown shows, often there'll be like a moment where it's suspended, and then a motorbike goes past, and we're all like, you listen, you're in the world, in the moment with the audience.
Like
That's the
them,
only thing.
we had to wait for a plane.
We
Yeah,
did.
that's very clown.
That's-
That's very
Yeah,
appropriate.
we could have all just watched the plane go by.
So, out of it, what was your favourite subject, and how long were you at Leacock?
Yeah.
And what was your favourite subject?
2.5, 2 years it is.
2 years,
2
yeah.
years, 2
2 years.
9-month years.
Yep.
My favourite subject was probably, I love studying animals, but I think the most fun I had was Buffon, which is this wild, crazy type of clown where you wear stockings over your body and then you stuff yourself full of foam to accentuate a certain body part. And the idea is that there's these creatures that crawl out from the underground and they observe humans and things that they do. So we might observe, pilots and the way that they carry themselves and act, and then you start to mock them.
Yeah.
So it's about mocking society and holding up a mirror to society, and it's grotesque and it's kind of like over the top, and it's like, it's kind of weird. I
Jess?
just loved it, yeah.
My favourites were clown and animals. Yeah.
John?
Animals.
Yeah, Buffon was great. Clown, animals, what else? We did a lot with masks.
Yeah.
Like these full, like, weird masks. And you just kind of move in this weird body. It's the weirdest thing.
So you have to just
It's all weird.
you have to just put it out there, don't you?
Yeah.
Like,
that's the
it
big thing
is-
you learn, to be honest. You just go for it.
Yeah, you gain a lot of confidence.
They put you on the spot, and, you know.
It is something that, I do filming for just this stuff, right? And I don't, but you have to be a bit more over the top when you're in front of a camera because people watching, they see more expressions and they react to it. Yeah. You've got a full improv in everything that you're doing. How much improv comes into your shows during the show?
Yeah. Well, I suppose with our Latebloomers shows, we get audience members up on stage with us. So every single show is different. Yeah. Even though we have a formula that we've got a structure so it can work, you don't know what that audience member's going to bring. So, yeah.
But you create a very safe space for them to
Very
play
safe,
in
yeah.
because it's very constructed.
Yeah.
Like the movement is, the mime, we do a lot of mime, and that is very kind of specific and thought through. But
so
within
they know
that,
their role. They
Yeah.
sort of, we tell them what part they're playing, kind of.
Yeah.
And then they can play it in their own way.
We encourage them to play. We want them to have an absolute ball on stage with us and let loose and be the star of the show kind of thing.
So have you seen many hypnotists?
No, I
like
haven't seen
live
any.
on stage?
No, I haven't really. No.
Does it actually work?
Well, I was hoping I'd get an answer from you, but going into what you're saying there is we saw Chris something. What's Chris Iron? We saw Chris's show.
Is it Isaac?
No, I think that's it.
Oh, that's the singer.
I am sorry, Chris. Loman, I think it is. So Chris's show, he gets 25 people up on stage approximately. But he does this thing, so you stand there, you do this, and like, you know, if you feel the urge to come up on stage, come up on stage. And my mate, who's totally not into anything like that, I look around, he's stood up and he's gone to stage. And we're all like looking, going, what the fuck has just gone on there? Fucking John's gone up on stage. And he got up on stage, and then the guy, he would go around and he'd be talking to him, go to sleep. I'm like, go to sleep. And John's looking, and John just, in the end, he turns around, gets up and comes back down. And I said, mate, what was going through your mind? He goes, I just felt like I had to go on stage. And he talks about if you feel like you're in this moment, come on stage, and then he'd go to people, go to sleep, and they'd go to sleep. I don't know. It was like, it'd be great to have an argument with your wife, go to sleep. Not that I'd use it to bad, but when I was watching it, and I was like, some people in the stage seemed, it almost seemed they were in the bind of the hypnosis, but some did, and those some didn't, I think, wanted to be the star of the show. So this is where my question came in. I thought it was a bit of acting, and that's why I'd asked if you've ever seen a hypnotist, because I've seen a few, and some of them I get mixed. I get a mixed response when I sit there and I sit there, is this real? Or do they feel they're on stage, they feel they've got to do the right thing, they feel they need to act for the rest of the crowd so they're not letting people down? How much of that comes into play is what I thought. And you know, you guys are improving, and to me, it's a big thing.
We get all kinds of different responses. In Perth, especially, they're absolutely crazy.
Yeah, really wild.
They love to drink over there. And one day we got this crazy woman up. She was mental, and she like came over the crowd, and she stopped on top of this guy in the front row and just started like humping his head. And we were like, it's a bloody gentle clown show.
Maybe she'd been to La Coque.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe she.
And then she came on and tried to hump me, I think. Yeah. And then she got another guy up as a rabbit. Like, it's this hunting scene. We hunt a stag. And then she, like, just lay down on the ground and was, like, rolling around. And we were like, so you just roll with it. You're just like, it's actual gold dust as well.
People
are losing their shit.
Fuck?
Yeah. It's someone being vulnerable on stage and having a ball.
Yeah.
But then you get really shy people as well.
Well, that's it. It's amazing. Some people just sort of freeze up, but then you kind of help them out.
Yeah, you encourage.
I think that comes with the confidence from you guys, like giving people enough confidence. Like you said it in the intro, saying that you make people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
That's important. So, Sam, you've been in a lot of short movies.
I have,
probably about 35 or so.
Yeah, it's about that. Yeah.
So did you always want to get into, so I mean, that's a form of acting. What you're doing on stage, you're using a lot of improv, and it's full acting. So did you think there was going to be a movie star? I mean, you got the looks of a movie star. I'm surprised you haven't had A-grade Hollywood stuff.
Thank you.
I can't believe it either.
Yeah.
Stuck with you guys. Yeah.
So is it something that, you've done plenty of short movies?
Yeah.
Is there still one day that you'd like to do that, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, for sure.
And what were some of those movies? What was your best one? Did you work with Eric Bana or anything like that?
No, I didn't. That would be lovely though. If you're watching, Eric, give me a call, mate. Yeah. No, I studied at the University of Wollongong. I just did, Bachelor of Creative Arts in theatre. But then I've always been a huge fan of film. I just grew up watching film and mainly action films. And,
action?
I love action films. Yeah.
So
Adventure, Indiana Jones.
Are you a Tom Cruise, do your own stunts?
No, not quite. Can't fly a helicopter.
But did this all lead to your you were nominated for Best Actor.
Yeah.
In a comedic role, short and sweet theatre festival.
That's right. Yeah. That was a long time ago, actually. But I got right into it because I was living in Sydney and all these opportunities were popping up to do short films. I was trying to figure out a way to get into film and television, and then someone said to me, just start by doing loads of short films and collaborating with other filmmakers that want to make short films. And it's such an easy way to get into it without doing a course or something like that. And I think that's the best way to do it for me. I was like, I'm learning so much by actually just doing it. And you know, I had an agent, was doing that all that stuff in Sydney, but it's hard to break into that very tight knit community, I think. Yeah, especially in Sydney, it felt like at the time it was tough to break through. But yeah, I did some really good stuff that I was very, very happy with, and got a good feedback from everyone that saw the films. And yeah.
Have you heard of the Adelaide director, the Australian director Robert Connolly?
Robert Connolly, no.
Yeah, so he's recently just done The Dry with Eric Bana.
Oh yeah. Is that great? Have you seen that?
You can watch a JP Rates version of that. I think I gave it a 5 out of 5.
Really?
I think it was cracking. Awesome use of cinematography, using Australian, and it's flashback scenes go to like where it's all green and whatnot, and it's now called The Dry. So the modern day stuff's really dry. Eric Bana, absolute champion.
So good.
Apparently, he was speaking to this Robert guy, and what are you working on? And so he had the office next door. It was next door to his wife's place. And Robert goes, I'm looking at this script, The Dry. And he said, I've read it. And then Eric Bana apparently said to him, well, if you do that movie, I'll play a role in it. And the guy there and then said, we're doing the movie. So that's how Eric Bana did the role.
No way.
Wow.
That is pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I'm an Eric Bana fan. I don't.
Oh, he's amazing. He's one of my favourite performers.
He's done, even going from Chopper.
Incredible.
Unbelievable scene. Yeah.
Yeah. And,
So.
what's his name? Oh, no. I've forgotten his name. Roll on.
Okay, so so it gets us to Jonathan.
Yep.
Hello, John.
Hi guys.
So you've done a lot of performance for children theatre, or is that a word? Is that children's theatre? And as you're a teacher as well, and a facilitator with experience creating and leading workshops for adults and children. Most recently with the Bristol Old Vic Young Company. Is that?
Oh yeah. I taught there, and Jess has taught at the same place actually. Yeah. We've both done quite a lot of school workshops, and I've done shows in schools. Yeah. So I've done a bit of that.
Who are your best people to teach?
Best people to teach.
Yeah, like is there, with kids,
Colin.
they come with no expectations. They sit there, they've got the world to learn. Is there something there that you think, that could, or have you come across a Margot Robbie or someone like that, like someone that's just, you've said that person's going to be a superstar? Jeez, take that.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. It's interesting. You get all sorts of people, with different levels of openness or whatever, and it varies. What age of the kids you're teaching.
Yeah.
If it's teenagers, they often close up. They get a bit more embarrassed with stuff. But if it's young kids, like 10 years old, 11, they might be more open. So yeah, it varies by age, I guess. And adults, of course, there's so many different personalities you get. But then that's the good thing about teaching, I guess. You can sort of bring it out of people and respond to their needs.
Do you have to mark work being a teacher, or is it all theory?
The stuff.
It's all practical.
It's all practical. Yeah, the stuff I do, the stuff we do, all three of us teach a lot. Yeah, it's sort of workshops, drama workshops. So we're on our feet in the room doing exercises.
Don't take notes.
Improvising. Yeah.
Are you allowed to take notes?
No, we probably say don't take notes.
At Lecoq, we couldn't take notes. Yeah, so don't take notes. Yeah.
It totally changes the way you learn, I think. Like you stop getting stuck in your head and you're fully just ready and doing it, which is kind of what.
Do you think you're a learner of practical or theory or both or visual? Do you think there's a particular type that you learn best from? I know what mine is, but do you think there is?
I learn best through, I have to write things down or draw them or teach them. Like it's learning something and then putting it onto something else.
So do you have to learn lines in what you do?
In the shows that we've made, like a little bit, but we write the lines. But in other plays, yeah. And I think we've each got a different way of learning lines.
Yeah.
Can you give me a technique?
I write mine down, so I'll write down the first line and I'll say it over and over again, and I'll write it down over and over again, and then I'll do the next line and write that over again, and then I'll put them together and write them over and over again. So I've got notebooks
So
full
you're
of just the same.
right?
Yeah, writing it down.
What about you, John? Is there... What do you want?
There's not really a technique. I just sort of learn them, do it again and again until I learn them.
So I get it written, then I draw the exact linkage of it with different pictures,
Oh, wow.
and then I get rid of the writing and then go to the picture.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
And
interesting.
and then if I'm really trying to get it right, I do what I call the on the hour, and then every hour that I'm like awake, then I'll do that first 10 minutes on that hour learning whatever. But I've never had to learn like lines from a movie or something.
Yep.
But that's how and it takes that much for me to actually remember something. Like, fuck knows how someone does a movie.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that's why I asked, is there other things? Because I use a lot of visual techniques that help me.
I think film's easier than theatre to learn your
For
lines.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, theatre's one
Big time. 'Cause
one
you-
cut, right?
Yeah, you can't. Just don't fuck it up. Yeah.
And you can't miss it.
Yeah. I've had some bad moments missing lines, like blanking on stage completely.
Oh,
See,
yeah, I've had that, yeah.
I've only
Yeah.
had it in front of the camera, and it doesn't matter because
Yeah.
Ollie's he's a champion
Yeah,
editor,
cheers,
so
Ollie.
he just cuts it out. But we put all of my mistakes. He's really kind and puts all my mistakes at the end of the clip, so people can see them. So that's his free reign that he's allowed to do.
That's good.
So
yeah.
So Jess, who are your inspirations in getting into theatre and performing?
Like who were? I was going to say who were they initially, but I suppose it's still kind of the same.
Yeah, it could be like someone, that you initially saw thinking, I'm going to, that person does amazing things. I like what they do.
I think I wanted to get into theatre, or like I didn't really know what it was then, but the 1997 film of Twelfth Night, so the Shakespeare play, with Helena Bonham Carter and a bunch of other great actors in it. As a 5-year-old, I was like, this, whatever this is, I want to do this. So I used to go to kindergarten and go, I've learned this line from this Shakespeare thing, not knowing what Shakespeare was. But I was like, this is a speech about love. Here you go. And my friends would be like, yeah, cool, let's go and play in the mud.
Really?
Yeah, I was so
What a
into it.
dog.
And my mum used to take me to Shakespeare plays and ballets and stuff, and just be like, cool, go for it. Just so great.
So were your
awesome.
parents into theatre at all?
Like, yeah, my mum was kind of into it, but neither of them were performers. But apparently my granny, who I didn't know, was a performer and studied at a similar school to us, but in London. But I only found that out recently.
Wow.
But yeah,
See?
I was just into it as
It's
a
amazing,
kid.
isn't it? How something so young can be something that changes your life.
Yeah, probably it was just Shakespeare, which is weird because I haven't done any Shakespeare since uni. But
Is Shakespeare difficult? I mean, I've watched Romeo and
I find
Juliet. That was fucking difficult.
I
That was the
find
modern one too. I still don't like it.
I find
Good
it
soundtrack.
really easy to understand, but I think that is because I was watching that film over and over again as a kid.
Yeah.
So like learning English and also just listening to Shakespeare, and
So
it became the same
fair enough.
thing.
John, any people that you've looked up to as people that have been inspirations for you to, say, hey, I want to do this for a living?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I got quite interested in the physics, which obviously culminated into going to Lecoq. I got interested in those kind of really physical actors, people like Geoffrey Rush or whatever,
Yep.
because he went there, So people who like really use their bodies and like use expression.
Characters, yeah.
Yeah, which is like, it was looking at those kind of actors that led me back to training like Lecoq.
So when you were young,
Yeah.
like Jess was talking when she was 5, did you have any experiences like, oh, this is what I want to do? Like, you're looking, I actually just don't, you guys look young. I don't know. You all look under 30, but
Thank you.
is there,
Well, yeah.
was there anything like at school that you thought to yourself, oh, I'm going to get into acting. I'm going to get into theatre.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I grew up watching like comedy stuff on TV, I suppose.
Oh, did you watch the
Like,
show where they're all improv?
Huh?
Not
Whose line is it anyway?
Yeah, he does it. Yeah.
We used to watch that in
grew up
drama
watching
school,
that. Yeah.
drama in drama class. Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant stuff. Yeah.
Did you know though that John is actually an Oxford graduate studying in ancient languages?
Ah, that's how it all began. Yeah.
It was that ancient Syrians that inspired him.
what's studying? What actually is that for someone that has no idea?
Well, so
Probably like most people listening.
So I studied a degree in kind of the Middle East,
Yeah.
the ancient history of the Middle East, and the languages. So kind of ancient Babylonian cuneiform is the style of writing, and Hebrew, biblical Hebrew. So I did a bit of that, and then
Holy shit, this is
amazing?
diverse.
Isn't it?
Isn't it?
Wow.
In fact, so you're an Oxford graduate?
yeah,
This
yeah.
could well be our first Oxford graduate.
Woo!
Wow, that's pretty incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Well, it's good to
It blows
hear.
my mind.
Yeah.
When I first met him in Paris, I was like, "You did what? You went to
So
Oxford
is
and
that
studied what?"
hieroglyphics or is that more the language?
It's like hieroglyphics, yeah, it's like a style of writing. It's another version of that called cuneiform, which is like marks on clay, but it's quite similar, yeah. Similar stuff. from
So what
ancient
made
art.
you get into that? Just
Dunno. Just an interest, you got to do something at university, so I did that.
Why not?
why not?
Yeah. But I didn't go into it. It hasn't really come up much since,
Have you been to Egypt or have you been to any?
Not Egypt. I've been to the Middle East a lot.
Yeah.
Been to Syria, Iraq, Jordan. Yeah.
So can you speak languages or is that more?
They're more like written, they're
Learning
ancient
them.
languages. Yeah. So, I picked up a bit of Arabic or whatever on the travels, a bit of Turkish or whatever. But
I
couldn't
think
really.
You went to Easter Island as well, didn't you?
Easter Island, yeah, I've been to
Yeah.
Easter Island, yeah.
You know where the big heads are? on
Yeah.
That random
Yeah,
island.
that's a weird place to go. Yeah. If you can
Is
ever
it
go.
weird?
Yeah, I mean it's so remote. It's like you got to go to Chile, and then you've got a 4-hour, 5-hour flight just out into the Pacific, out into nowhere.
And these is there? I don't know that. How were they made? Do they know that these were chiseled out or not?
Yeah,
Or what's the actual story?
Bob
of
the
those?
Builder.
They're not like Stonehenge where they're still saying, I don't know.
No, they've worked in that. It's like they're like the Polynesian culture, which is you get in New Zealand all over, where they have these kind of burial mounds made of rocks. It's like evolved from that the rock they had was so carvable they could just get bigger and bigger and bigger. So then they turn into these giant stone heads, and they're just there,
Is it
just all
impressive?
over the island. It's amazing. It's the spookiest thing.
And there's no trees, right?
No, there's no trees. There used to be, but they used them all. So now it's just desolate. So
With a bunch of heads on it.
So how's that compared to like Stonehenge? Have you seen? I'm assuming you've seen.
yeah, I've been to Stonehenge.
Yeah. So
yeah.
how's that? I mean, yeah, that's pretty impressive. Stonehenge, like a couple of rocks in a bit of a circle.
Yeah.
Technically in the middle of nowhere, you drive and
Yeah.
rocks.
Is it a similar age?
Like-
those?
Well, no, Stonehenge is much, much older.
Okay.
These heads are from 1500
1986.
or something.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Whereas Stonehenge is kind of
So I dare say you're into history.
8,000 years.
Are you into history, or is this just?
Yeah, I dare say you're correct. I mean, yeah.
I was like, I think we're into history here. Like, is it? So then you've gone from something technically so serious into saying that
Being a
it comes
clown.
across as a bit more fun.
Well, it's funny actually. I left university doing this thing, and I thought, there's no job in this. So then I became a business journalist. So I worked as a journalist writing about horticulture and construction and all sorts.
So do you still write now?
No. I sort
Not
of got
for
bored of
fun,
it. I
or-
thought, I did that for about 5 years, and I thought, what do I actually want to do with my life? So then I became a clown. Yeah.
Out of the cock.
Fucking hell, that's fucking. That, I mean, that's.
When I
almost-
first heard that, I was like, that's so fucking cool.
it is. It is unbelievable.
It's awesome.
I'm almost. I can't believe it.
So there's a show in that, isn't there?
Yeah, it's totally a show in that.
No one would believe it, man.
So, so were your parents supportive?
Yeah, they were. Yeah. My dad worked in kind of theatre and stuff. Well, he worked in TV backstage, so he sort of knew the world. You know.
He worked with Charlie Chaplin, didn't he?
Yeah. He was in a film with Charlie Chaplin when he was a kid.
His dad,
Good fuck.
Yeah.
Really?
With Charlie
YouTube,
Chaplin.
yeah.
And Sir Laurence Olivier, right?
Yeah, Laurence Olivier. Yeah.
David, he's such a legend.
Where were this on my fucking notes?
Heaps of stuff
I could
being
have had a
required.
field day with this. That's unbelievable.
David Tilley.
I mean,
Yeah.
it just goes to show you're obviously loving what you're doing now.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, this is absolutely the life, you know. Yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. You know, going out in front of an audience and really making people laugh. It's really special. Yeah.
And going from what you've just told me, it's not something. I'm assuming as a kid you weren't thinking you're going to do that. Even at uni, you're not thinking, "Oh, were you funny at uni?"
Oh, I've always been funny, man. Yeah. No.
You did lots of serious plays.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a lot of stuff at theatre at
Dramatic.
university, but it was like more plays. Yeah, Shakespeare and stuff like that. Yeah.
Did you ever play King?
I played a few. Man, did I ever play not a king?
He's just the king. Typecast.
Yeah, typecast as a king. Yeah, Richard.
You got that king look.
Second, yeah, thank you. Yeah.
You're like a bit of a British stereotype.
Yeah, I've got a very English face. That's what people are saying.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You're like those statues that you see in museums.
You got an English.
That's just what people say.
Oh, and they made moves too. Who would have thought? Oh my god! So that's a massive variation of things that you've done. It is.
It's been quite a journey. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's quite inspiring.
It-
You know?
oh,
Yeah. To be
and
like-
you'll get to work together.
Yeah.
So the Bakers.
Mm.
That was originally. That's the whole tie-in to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't actually see John as one of the Bakers.
No, that's right. Yeah.
We had Ollie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ollie the
Oh,
Swede.
in the supermarket.
Yeah.
So
I saw
Ollie,
the video.
yeah. So Ollie rocks up. I can't believe they produced that video that bad.
It was not.
Like,
Are they going to be watching this?
Ollie watched it and just went, "What the fuck?" Like it was so bad. Like
so it wasn't you.
no microphone. I was almost embarrassed. Like, these guys, V said, "What the fuck? I'm not releasing that." V said, "I'm not releasing it." And I was like, "Well, fuck, it wasn't us." But next time,
we
I
can
said,
cut
"Next
this bit
time I'll
out."
bring my own."
Yeah.
So the Bakers.
That's fair.
So you're at school together. I'm assuming you go, "Let's start something." Is
Yeah.
that how?
Yeah, so
Please tell me
that's how the
that's
late bloomers started. Yeah.
Oh, the late
absolutely.
bloomers started.
Yeah,
So
the
late
bloomers.
because late as in you think you're too late in life?
Yeah, well, John and
or-
I we're 35 this year, and went to Lecoq when we were 29, and we thought, wow, this is a bit late to be getting into physical theatre.
And is it though? Like you got these kids like his like 18, like
Yeah.
they're so good.
It's not
Their
late,
movements are amazing. No, it's not.
It
it's
was
not
perfect.
late.
It was the perfect timing for both of us. It was the best. And Ollie's the real late bloomer because he's from a little country town in Sweden, and he was just living in Sweden, and then suddenly he was in Paris, and he was like, "Oh my god, it's Paris!" And he was like, he'd never done all these things, and I was like, "What the fuck? You haven't done that?" And anyway, he's the real late bloomer. But we really gravitated toward each other. The three of us, because obviously we weren't in Group A, we were all in Group B together.
Yeah, they were having a great time.
Yeah, and but we continued to work together in second year, and then we did a little clown number at the very end. You have to make the perfect number as a clown, so you have to do something obscure.
Yeah.
So we did a body percussion piece. So with Ollie,
Okay. Like we did at the start.
yeah, like the clapping stuff,
Yeah.
and it culminated in a big song. And originally I was singing Country Boy by John Denver. Do you know that one?
No, I don't. It's fine.
Well, life on the farm is kind of laid back, ain't watching on Country Boy, McCain hack. And we busted that one out.
Yeah.
And John was like, it's not quite working because my clown was a small, angry Scottish guy.
Yeah.
With
Well,
his
okay, I can see
I had
that.
a kilt like hiked up here, and I was like, "You ain't kind of getting angry like that."
Yeah.
And it
So
wasn't
Sam was there in a
quite-
kilt, and it was like having like a Western sort of American theme. I thought
But
it just
with a
doesn't
Scottish
work.
bloke,
They kill. Yeah.
And he said, why don't we sing a Scottish ballad? And I was like, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, what about Loch Lomond? And I was like, what the fuck is Loch Lomond?
I'm 100% with you. What's Loch Lomond?
Loch Lomond is you'll tuck the high road and I'll tuck the low road.
Got it.
I'll be in Scotland afore ye. It's that one. And so it culminates to this big thing and we sing and then the crowd loved it. They went nuts and we were like, hey, maybe we should make a show about Scotland, even though we're not Scottish. And the first show that we made straight out of school was Scotland with an exclamation mark, as in like, Scotland! And it's a non-verbal physical comedy about Scotland, full of dancing and stomping and stupidity.
So good.
And yeah, it went really well where we took it, and that was the start of the Latebloomers.
Yeah, that was our first show.
Yeah.
We did it here in Australia. That was in,
Really?
Yeah, we premiered it
2019.
in
Okay.
Perth. World
And how'd
premiere
it
was
go?
Perth.
Great.
Gangbusters. It was amazing, yeah.
Mm.
Such a good response for like such a silly show.
But it's beautiful. I've seen the show almost every single time.
Are you a
we've
bit
done it.
biased, Jess?
No, I would say I'm
She's
very
the harshest
critical.
critic, you know?
She helped direct it, yeah.
We all work on each other's shows and kind of
Yeah.
help each other, and we come from the same school, which is very critical. So they know I would tell them if it was rubbish.
Yeah, she's very honest.
Adelaide Fringe shows.
Yes.
John, let's start with what shows you've got coming up and a bit about the show to try and entice someone that is sitting there thinking, oh, I don't know if I'm going to go to that show. What sort of advice can you give them other than go to the fucking show?
Well, definitely go to the fucking show.
Just go.
It's great for kids all ages. Yeah. No, it's the show I'm in at the moment.
Yep.
Is called Attenborough and His Animals. I don't know when this will be going out, but it's on this week till Sunday at Gluttony. Attenborough and His Animals, and if you like David Attenborough, you'd love it. So it's got pretty broad appeal. It's a very funny show. We basically we recreate David Attenborough documentaries on stage.
So good.
So I play David
amazing.
Attenborough.
It's
Jess
amazing.
plays all the animals.
So you're
Yes.
the different animals, Jess?
Yeah.
And you've got the voice of David Attenborough.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think we need to see a scene.
You know what? It would be cool if could I pick an animal that Jess was,
Yeah.
like, you know,
And then get John to describe
and then
it.
get John to describe Jess. Like, Jess, you might be able to give me a hint. What would be a good animal?
Oh yeah. What-
You don't have to act it out, but you could if you wanted to. But you don't have to. But what do you think's an animal that you enjoy being?
The blue whale.
Blue whale.
Okay,
Yeah.
Jess,
It's-
you look like a blue whale right now.
Yeah.
So, John.
So yeah, you be the whale.
Yeah,
I'll be Attenborough.
Yeah, you'll be Attenborough.
Dwarfed by the vast expanse of open ocean, the largest animal ever to have existed. The blue whale.
All right, no. That is so good. I want to film the next one. That is so
Yes.
cool.
If you
That
enjoyed
is-
that,
You'll love the show.
Yeah,
yeah,
I love it,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's an hour of that.
It's an hour of that.
Okay, so what's an animal? Like, I would have gone a chameleon.
Chameleon. Oh, interesting.
That's-
Yeah.
Oh, is that too much?
We don't have one of those
We
in the
don't do
show.
chameleon. What we
But-
do?
so chameleon change colour, they eyes, 360
Yeah.
degrees.
They're pretty amazing creatures. Aren't
They are
Those
amazing.
eyes, yeah.
But let's not. I don't want you. Let's go for something that's a bit more a bit more in the show.
in the show.
What's your favourite?
bit more in the
What's
show.
your favourite?
Yeah, what's your favourite?
Yeah.
Do you want to see an animal?
Yeah, for sure.
Then maybe a spider.
Do the spider, can you?
I feel like that's got links to the chameleon.
Absolutely. Yeah, do it.
Into the undergrowth.
Okay, so here we go. So for people that are just listening and aren't watching, Jess is all of a sudden become a spider.
On the forest floor, a jumping spider. Weaving its web. Ready for any unsuspecting prey to become caught in the trap.
That is so cool! Wow! That is awesome. So you guys actually sit here and come up with a whole lot of characters, and then did you work out? Is that how you worked out?
Well,
the
we
game?
just copied the documentaries. We just
Yeah.
watched
and
the
then
real
just went, yep,
documentaries.
okay, I can replicate.
Similar thing.
Pretty
Clown it
much.
up.
We just stole everything from David Attenborough.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It was.
And have you met David Attenborough by any chance?
No.
We're
But-
working on it.
They did get invited by the BBC last year to go and do a gig at their Christmas party
Yeah, the Natural History
Yeah.
Unit Christmas party.
in Bristol, which is where David Attenborough, which is where it all
Are you
happens.
serious?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
and then
bizarre.
last minute it got cancelled, and then there was a pandemic.
Yeah.
So we're still hoping it might happen
Yeah,
eventually.
hopefully one day. Yeah.
They said they were keen to rearrange, but
Because some people saw us, didn't they? We did a show in Bristol, which is where they're based. With some
yeah,
people from Frozen Planet.
That film, the
Sorry.
Komodo dragon bit, right? Is that
not
right?
the Komodo
No,
dragon. It
which
was
thing
the
Was it?
lizard,
Oh, the lizard.
the lizard.
Oh,
and
the
snakes.
lizard.
There's this epic chase
the
scene with the lizard.
iguana?
That's
Yes.
it. Yeah, yeah.
And she'd filmed it and watched the show and watched Jess do that scene. She was like, "Oh my god, I filmed that."
I
That's so
guess
cool.
like kids, I've watched a lot of. I'd rather, instead of watching Barbie and all this shit, I'd rather them watch Lonely Planet and things like that, where you know they take it in. They're like sponges. They learn so quickly,
Yeah.
and compared to. I'm not saying I don't learn quickly, but they definitely learn very quickly, and they just remember everything too,
Yeah.
which is incredible. So, how long does this show go for?
About 55 minutes.
Okay.
I reckon.
Call it an hour. Yeah.
Call
Is
an
it
hour,
just the two
under
of
an
you?
hour.
Just
It
two of
is.
us, yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you have to continually get changed? Like, is this something you practice at home at all? Is Cosmo? Is it called cosplay? No.
No, it's not. It's not that.
It's not quite that.
Oh,
no.
damn it! I thought I was onto something.
That is cosplay is what you're thinking of. but
Yes.
That's not what we do.
Oh, that'd be interesting. The blue whale.
It's where it's more like
No,
superheroes.
Superhero, you get in character.
Yeah,
Like,
but it's like
you know-
dressing up as characters you love.
Oh, I
It's,
see.
yeah.
No.
So
She's
you know,
just naturally an animal. Yeah.
Ooh.
Jess doesn't need a costume. That's the thing. She doesn't need a costume.
I do wear
Oh.
an outfit, like I am clothed, but it's just the one outfit.
Yeah, yeah.
She's not
She's got clothes on,
naked. That's not what. That's not
just so everyone doesn't get disappointed.
It's not a late night
She's
show.
Just to clarify.
She's actually wearing clothes. So whereabouts? What theatre are you at? Or
Oh, it's really nice. Yeah, it's in Gluttony, Hillside Theatre. Really nice
Is it
outdoor venue.
nice?
Yeah, it's lovely. It's
Beautiful.
a great
It's pretty
venue.
special, yeah. Just people sit on the hillside.
Oh,
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
And that is from what dates have you got for that?
Today until Sunday. We did last week, and then we're on until Sunday, which is the 7th. Sunday the 7th.
So today until Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
then
So we did a week of shows last week. So we're just
Okay.
doing 2 weeks.
just 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
And
cool.
how's it been? Because the last few Fringe shows we've had, they've all looked at their reviews and they treat them pretty seriously, which I'll be honest, I was surprised about, because I thought, you know, you can only take it with a grain of salt what someone says
Yeah.
about what you're
Yeah.
doing. But that was pretty important. They were actually quite excited. But how are your ratings been? How are your reviews been?
Yeah, we've had some really
Yeah.
good responses, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't invite many reviewers this year because we were here last year.
Hang on. You invite reviewers?
Yeah. So you email the press,
For sure,
sort of
yeah.
everyone in Adelaide, all of the press
Press
contacts, and say, can you come and can you review us? But we had them all review us last year. So we haven't really tried so hard to get reviewers in this year.
Yeah.
So-
This is a thing. Isn't this illegal to do on Google?
I
What's
don't
that?
know anymore in
Oh, is it?
Australia. Well,
Oh, I
the
think,
whole
yeah,
news.
right.
Well,
Oh,
would
Mr.
ask me.
Zuckerberg. Fuck that guy.
Is it not? Okay, so of course you do that. Of course.
Yeah, like
Well,
usually-
So you say, hey, come and review a show. You back yourself in. You give them a free ticket,
Yeah.
and they come in and they review it. However,
Yeah.
have you ever had? And I'm finding this would be hard to believe. Have you ever had a bad review?
Never had a bad review.
No. We have recently had a sort of a really positive review that gave us only 3 stars.
What was
But
fucking
the review
wrong with
was
them?
so
Did you ring them up?
positive.
We thought about it. It was great. It was such a nice review. What he wrote was
Yeah.
great. I don't know why the 3 stars. That's
It's
the first
confusing
time
with
we've got below.
staffing,
4.5. Right?
And your best has obviously been a 5.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
That's the norm.
Do you? That's why I just actually you've lost me with the 3. I mean, God, like. So
I know.
clearly you can't please everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
And I think we spend our lives thinking that we can, but the reality is you can't.
Yeah.
So with the improv on stage, do you get anyone on stage for your show?
We don't bring them up.
No.
It's interesting. We with this show we do a lot of going. Normally we do a lot of going into the audience, and Jess will interact with the audience as an animal.
Yeah, okay.
But this year we've sort of scaled that back because we're not allowed to.
Oh, because of
We've got to
Because of
COVID.
the COVID.
Well,
Yeah.
Gluttony are very strict this year.
Fucking COVID.
We've got it, but
This is
across the
bullshit.
board, we've got to keep a metre and a half
Still,
away from.
We're in the safest place in the world right here.
Yeah.
Maybe other than the moon.
In Perth.
No, going on the moon.
And Perth.
Nah, don't worry about Perth, mate.
Okay, so that's over soon. So Sam, you've also got a show with John
Yeah.
and Ollie that's not here. Probably
Swedish people.
baking cakes or something, or eating meatballs at IKEA.
Oh, he probably is, yeah. The
He
veggie
could-
bowls.
loves that.
I
Could well
bet you he
Oh.
bloody is.
Yeah.
I wanted to really ask him.
He said he had a tech run, but he's actually at IKEA. Yeah.
So with your show,
Yeah.
when's it on?
The
Where
Bakers.
is it? Talk about it.
The Bakers. It is a such a wonderful show to be in. I love it. I love the Bakers.
It's
I
so
absolutely
fun.
love performing in it. It's 3 French bakers, right? So John is the papa, Jean Gustave,
Hi, bonjour.
and then there's moi, who's Jean Claude, and then there's Oliver, who's Jean Pierre, JP.
Beautiful.
And,
JP.
yeah. But you're John Paul, I'm guessing.
Well, everyone calls me JP.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, I very rarely have people call me John Paul. When
Yeah.
people don't know me, they call me John, and then they call me Paul.
Ah.
And like, you get people like send you messages, and then they're John Pierre. I get that a lot. And then you get messages, hey John. I go, no, I don't even reply because you can't even get my fucking name right. So that's true.
Yeah.
And then everyone calls me JP.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I did French at school for
Ah, vraiment?
7-8 years.
Oh,
Je m'appelle Jean Paul.
Ah,
Oh,
d'accord.
right. Oh, okay.
Bonjour.
Très
Jean
bien.
Paul.
Well, bonjour.
Je
That's
m'appelle
about it.
Jean-Claude.
Stop it. The French teacher was hot. So,
Yeah.
so that was my reason for doing French.
Yeah.
French bakers.
Yeah, French bakers. So yeah, the premise is that they're this sweet little bakery, but it's going under. It's trying to run a small business and it's struggling against the outside pressures of the world and times are changing. But the 2 sons don't know about it, that the bakery's going down.
Mhm.
So he's keeping it a secret, but the audience knows, obviously. We're feeding that information. So there's this chaos that's building, this pressure that's building. And then Sunbeam, they come along and they're like an outside big bakery that are making sliced bread in plastic bags, manufacturing big bread.
Like, fuck, I wasn't. I've got him holding me. Yeah, it's all right. It's okay. That's why you paid the big bucks.
Yeah.
So, Sunbeam.
Yeah, so Sunbeam is
So
this.
they're like Audi,
Yeah, they represent
destroying everyone, the
yeah,
world,
it kind of like taking over the whole
one
market.
country at a time.
Yeah. So that's the idea.
Yeah, that's it.
But
that
my
clash.
character really latches onto that, and I think, well, we need to make more money because things are pretty dire. And I see this bread, and I'm like, Papa, machine, we could make a big, lots of bread and make money. And
Yeah.
I go off on this bloody tangent about machines, and then Ollie thinks he's going to take over the business. And then we find out in the end that, it's all going under, and I don't want to spoil it too much. But
No, don't
That's
worry.
it. I mean, that's the premise.
slapstick.
Or you can see there's all these little conflicts and stuff
Yeah.
built in, and
It's very
Obviously,
subtle and like
chaos ensues.
So-
and it's almost non-verbal as well.
So the 3 of you are on stage.
Yeah.
Just the 3 of you,
Just the 3 of us, yeah.
and whereabouts?
We're performing at Holden Street Theatres. So we're on in the last week
Holden
of
Street.
Fringe.
Holden Street.
It's one of the big hubs. It's by
behind the brewery.
the brewery, yes.
Yeah.
And the Coopers
Yeah,
Stadium.
yeah, just behind there.
Is the Coopers Stadium?
The
soccer stadium there?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So yeah, we're there. We're really excited to get there. It's in a big church called the Arch. And
Yeah,
it's
should
on
be
at
cool.
6:30
What, haven't you
PM.
been on yet?
No.
We did the Mill on Angus Street, but only 4 matinees.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is our main
So-
run
Shows,
in
yeah.
Adelaide.
Yeah.
Like I've figured out that, if you want a good show, maybe don't come to the first.
Mhm.
But you've already had 4.
We've already had 4
So
shows.
there
Yeah.
it goes.
Come along. Yeah.
So it's as good as it's going to get right now.
Yeah.
It'll only get better.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's quite a new show as well.
So
Yeah, we just started it this time last year.
yeah, well,
And then we-
you were, let's talk about that. You were prepared to go worldwide, a worldwide tour. I even believe you were talking to Elon Musk about going to
Yeah.
Mars,
Yeah.
and then
yeah.
COVID hits,
Yeah. So Mars took a back step. Yeah.
and everything else took a back step. Where were you when things started to go crazy? And this is a true fact. Tomorrow is a year since COVID started. The people started to panic buy in South Australia.
Oh, really?
Oh,
So,
Really?
so just so you know, so
Is it?
it's a year tomorrow. So what? Yeah, that's okay. And so where were you all?
We were here, weren't we?
Yeah, we were in
here,
Adelaide.
Yeah.
Oh, a
Right.
Fringe.
At
Doing
Fringe.
the
Fringe.
Okay.
We'd literally
Yeah.
just coming up to the last weekend of Fringe, wasn't it? And
So-
then,
Yeah.
So
Fucking our final.
were you planning to go home?
Yeah, we were going to go to Melbourne.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Well, the first
imagine
stop,
that. Imagine
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you got to Melbourne.
The first stop was Kangaroo Island, actually.
Oh yeah.
So
What a beautiful place. Have you been
We're
to Kangaroo
hosting
Island?
a bush
Yeah.
festival on Kangaroo Island.
Oh, because of the
which
fires.
Yeah, we were doing that. But we did in 2019 as well. We've got friends over there that have a farm. And we
Kangaroo
hosted a little
Island's
community festival there.
So good.
That's the best place in the world.
Yeah.
So we were going to do that. That was the first thing before. And then we are going to go to Melbourne and Singapore and Finland and Edinburgh. And we had a lot of interest here in Adelaide as well for our shows. Like Costa Rica knocking on our door.
How
Like, we
cool
wanna
is
come
that?
over,
I
and
mean,
there was
so-
China as well, I think.
So how have
Yeah.
you helped? So obviously you just had to go, hey guys, we're stopping.
Nothing we could do.
Yeah, well, we
Yeah,
didn't make
we'll
any
stop.
decisions. We just
Just
watched
stop.
our inbox as everything got cancelled.
Yeah.
Mm.
So cancelling shows means no money coming in.
Yeah.
And people aren't saying, "Oh, here's the money. We'll give it to you so you can come." Yeah, that clearly doesn't
Yeah,
happen.
That doesn't
No, that doesn't.
So,
That'd be great.
and we learnt, like in Australia, for anyone that's listening not from here, we had a job keeper, which meant that if you were out of work, you'd get $1,500 a fortnight.
Mhm.
And because you're self-employed, I'm guessing self-employed, you weren't entitled to any of that.
I was.
You were?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was entitled to it.
You two were.
Thankfully. Yeah.
Well, I got
Jess
something
wasn't.
similar actually. I went back to England and they had a similar scheme for.
Oh, so you did
self-employed
go
people.
back?
I did go back.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, John had to
Sorry,
go back, yeah.
I thought
I
you
did
were
go
staying.
home.
Yeah.
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 And
Ollie
the-
stayed. The Swedish
Yeah.
man. He stayed here with his partner, Britt. She's from Adelaide.
so there's a lot of acts that couldn't access any funding.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Ollie were kind of in that
Yeah,
boat
Jess
because
stayed,
I didn't go
obviously.
back to the UK, so I wasn't eligible for anything there. And also the UK sort of stuff for freelancers, you had to have been freelance for 3 years.
Okay.
I'd been freelance for 2 years, so me and Ollie weren't eligible for that. But I didn't get any of that stuff from Australia because I'm not from Australia. But,
We were lucky that I could get it, so we could
Yeah.
support
Yeah.
each other on that.
and we've been living
Income,
with Sam's
yeah.
parents.
Back with mum and dad. Yeah.
Wow,
Lucky,
hey.
they're great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lucky they're good.
They're good people. Yeah.
I mean, all jokes aside, I hope my girls never leave my house. So,
No.
mind you, they're really young. So.
yeah.
Yeah, you might change your mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the level they're going to be on, like the wife's built a bar and there's a pool and there's an escape route. I said, we've really fucking made it easy for them, honey. Like, they've got everything on the one level, so you can just fucking nick off and that's like, oh, it's not like that. They'll be responsible. Oh my God, hopefully they're not like me. So then I've noticed a few of the shows. We spoke to the ladies from Black Box Theatre that they're doing filming live and doing their show live where you can pay a little bit less than what it is to come in real life and watch it at home.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Have you thought of doing any events like that?
We've thought about it, but it is really hard for that to translate.
Yeah.
It's
In your
just-
shows? Yeah,
our
okay.
Our style's so, it's just not good for that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just not the same.
And we feed off the audience. as performers, big
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
We're feeding off their energy. And if it's a flat show, like sometimes you really got to dig deep to get people on board with you. So doing it for a camera is really challenging. We thought about making short films instead, Like I've had that idea.
Different
It's like
type
we
of
could
thing,
make it
yeah.
the Bakers as a short film instead, like a film noir or something like that. But live
that could
theatre is
work.
challenging.
I mean, it involves a bit of production and
you got
that's
to
it.
you got to find some kind
Like
of funding.
some theatres are streaming really big shows, but
Yeah.
they've got a huge budget behind it.
Yeah.
They've got
Yeah,
all
yeah.
these cameras and they can set it up and they can take their time and edit it and stuff. And we don't have those resources, and
Yeah.
we love performing to live audiences.
But in
Makes a
saying that, there
difference.
were some Zoom things that were happening. Like they were doing like silly cabarets, and people were just doing it for I think contact and like feeling together as a community still. So there were like little cabarets going on online. And stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Well, these guys, they've been using, so they've got it set up so they have a show,
Yeah.
but you can stream it home.
Yeah.
So they've been doing it with their
So with a
audience.
live
Yeah.
audience.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
yeah.
I was like, because they have the setup there. I asked them, how's the online sales going, and they said, yeah, the online sales have been quite good. It's like they've literally conned all their friends, like you could say, hey,
Yeah.
you've got to fucking watch this, and you can actually see if they're watching it. So
Well,
if
we've
they
been
don't
getting-
watch
yeah.
it, you can then go.
Yeah.
We've been getting messages from England and France saying like, can we see your show? Like
Yeah, see-
online. Yeah.
So that's what they've done at the
Yeah,
Black
I
Box.
think that's a good
and I
idea.
reckon it was Joanne. It was Joanne and Heatherstone. Yeah. So I thought that was a great way to adapt in to use the live show and then to still put some out live, which that must cost some money, but they've got it set up there. I thought that was a good way to adapt. I understand with your shows, it might, but there's still live crowd there. Maybe you're saying for the person at home, it's not what you want them to go through.
It could still be really great.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It could
I think
be,
so, yeah.
It could be a
if
thing.
you've got a live audience with you already, then
Yeah.
you're filming it. That's great because we get people up and they can still experience that hilarity that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
We haven't got
without
that.
an audience, it's very challenging.
Yeah.
We haven't got that set up at this stage, but it would be really cool to do.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's great to be back here because it's it's like back to normal life, and we're
Yeah,
performing
it's
in front of an
crazy.
audience. It's
Crazy.
It's amazing.
First cab off the rank for the Fringe. They were lucky. I think 2 days later, closed Fringe.
Yeah.
COVID started.
Yeah.
So, if you had the show Scotland, which has won so many awards, could you do that online, live, or same style? No.
With an audience, yes.
Yeah, with an audience.
We could stream it for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Absolutely. We could stream all of our shows like that if we had an audience, yeah.
Because one thing that I've learned with COVID, I've learned that Adelaide was extremely lucky. The fact that hardly anything changed here. Let's face it. And I'm an essential service.
Yes,
as
you
well.
are.
First time in my life I've been called essential. And so that means I could drive around the streets and do whatever. I had my pass. It was like, it was like war days maybe. But I realised that we did things different. And a few of those was the video conferencing. Who would have thought we'd ever do a video conference, right? That would, you always want it face to face. But it made us realise that, okay, maybe there are some things that can change. And that was one of them for me. So that's why I was just curious what you guys think of that.
Yeah, right, yeah.
There's someone in it. But I think for what we do, it's about it being live and in
Yeah.
the room.
Totally.
It's never the
But-
same.
That's
but
why it's so special.
So what famous people have come from Latebloomers?
Jeffrey Rush went there
That's a good one.
back in the 70s. Isla Fisher.
Oh, I love all of it.
Isla Fisher's incredible. There's some
Sacha
very famous
Cobain.
English actors.
Toby Jones?
Toby Jones.
Toby Jones, yeah.
Do you know Toby Jones?
Simon
He's really
McBurney.
wonderful.
You might recognise them.
Simon McBurney.
They're more in theatre, but you'd see them in like small character roles and stuff.
Who's
Lot
the other guy
TV
from
now.
Rambo?
Stephen Burkoff.
Stephen
Yeah.
Burkoff. You know the evil Russian from
Yeah,
Rambo?
I do.
Yeah.
That's one I
He went to Lecoq, yeah.
Slight and you guys.
And us, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
notably.
Yeah. And us.
A lot of really famous theatre companies, like
yeah,
Complicity.
yeah.
So what's cut mustard theatre?
So that is
yeah.
our other company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the two of us, and then 3 Norwegians and a South Korean friend who we all also met at the
It's a
COP.
multicultural.
Very multicultural.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah.
And we came here in 2019 with the whole company and did our silly space show, 2100, a space novelty, which is
It was a really
brilliant
fun
show.
really
That
silly.
actually sounds pretty cool.
It was
It's
awesome.
really fun.
Great fun.
And when we did it in Adelaide, the woman playing the superhero was 4 months pregnant.
Yeah.
4.5 months pregnant, so we had a
So
pregnant
this
superhero.
really intense physical theatre show. Yeah.
In a
She
like,
looked very
tight,
pregnant as well,
shiny outfit.
She
It's
rocked it,
awesome.
yeah.
It's brilliant.
So good. Yeah.
And we had just started making a new show with them in Norway just before we came to Adelaide. And
Yeah, we're going to make
A
a,
year
show
ago.
about the expedition to the South Pole between Norway and England.
yeah, it was a race.
A race to the South Pole.
And
With
The
Amundsen.
Norwegians won.
Smashed it.
Yeah.
The English people died.
The whole English team died.
I shouldn't laugh, but it's
and
really
the Norwegians just skied there and then skied back.
like on a normal day.
funny. Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
much. I mean, I think it was quite challenging, but yeah, they just
But they
nailed
were
it.
much more equipped for it
Yeah.
because they were Norwegian. You know, they live in the snow.
Yeah. So that'll be a
They're-
cool show. When
I
we
think
get to
they're a
make
little
it.
bit crazier too.
They're pretty.
Norwegians, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're different. Yeah.
They're
Oh.
awesome.
Swedish,
Swedish,
more
absolutely.
like I would say European, but more the
Scandinavians.
winter.
Scandies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Something in the water.
My
up
friends, yeah, Kitzbühel, I think there's a bunch of them, and they're freaking mad. Like
Yeah.
all of them are mad. Like, oh, paraglider. Yeah, I took my dad's paraglider, went up on the hill, put it on, and took off. Like as a kid, and like. I said, well, what did your dad say? He was wrapped when I came back and come down and said I'd done it. But his dad had no idea. He was a 12-year-old and he
my
just
God.
put it on top of the hill, took off. Like,
So good.
and that says a lot. You go in a car with them really fast and fucking slow down. Mate. And I'm like,
Yeah.
mate, you jump off cliffs
Yeah.
and you're worried about going fast in a car. It's like different.
Very outdoorsy life.
Very
as well
outdoorsy.
in
That's
Norway.
a good
Yeah.
way to sum it up.
Yeah.
Mambo.
Yes.
Sam.
Manbo.
That's a fucking cool name.
Yeah.
What is it about?
It's an 80s, it's a parody on 80s action films, obviously. Rambo.
There it is. So there's the connection.
So there's the connection. But it's more about men not being able to express themselves emotionally. So it's like I'm using Rambo as a bit of a vehicle to explore that idea.
Fuck, that sounds cool. When's that?
Yeah. So I've just had 10 shows at the Mill, which have just finished. And then I've got another week coming up at Holden Street Theatres as well, from the 9th until the 14th. And Jess has directed that one. Like she was the director of it. And we made it. It was a lockdown project. Yeah, it was made out of COVID.
So this is made out of COVID? There were a few things there was a lot of babies made out of COVID too.
Yeah.
This is their baby, yeah.
This is our baby.
Oh, there's water. I don't know. I'm just putting two and two together.
You never know. Yeah.
So forget about that. Rambo, fucking loved it. Loved Rambo as a movie, and
Yeah.
I've actually like 6 months ago recently watched it again.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Ah.
Which one? The first one?
Number
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Brilliant film. Brilliant film.
And
First one.
you really strike me as the Sylvester Stallone like action hero. Like,
He's definitely the Stallone of the group, yeah.
like I'm assuming you are taking the manly,
Yes.
muscly,
Yep.
kill everything
Big time.
role in Manbo.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
And also
it's-
all the other roles.
And all the other roles. I played the Russian villain.
So
I
you
played
ask-
a colonel. Manbo, we got to talk about this. You got to come on a mission with me. You know, it's all that kind of stuff. And then there's, what else do I play? There's three main characters.
Yeah,
and then I
it's
play a
three
sergeant, a
characters.
drill sergeant
Oh, yeah.
at the beginning. Oh, you goddamn maggots, you got to come on to this fucking show with me, you assholes. Shit like that. And then, so there's loads of different characters. And there's motorbike chases and bloody helicopters and explosions and singing. I sing a couple of songs in it. And there's 80s dancing and... it's a pretty wild adventure.
It's a pretty outrageous display
It's
of
fucking outrageous.
multi-talent. Yeah.
It sounds good. I mean, you've just thrown a few accents there.
Yeah, the Russian.
Do you? Is there? It's pretty hard to learn that.
Mm.
How have you learned that? Just watching plenty of movies.
Watching plenty of movies. And
No.
playing, yeah.
Really? No. So is there there's vocal training? Do you do
Yeah.
any of that? Or you
Well,
just,
I mean, I'd studied that, at like university and stuff like that, but I haven't specialised in it. But my Russian accent, you know, I wouldn't say it's flawless.
What's your favorite
It's more like
accent?
a mix of Greek and Russian and Italian.
What's your favorite accent?
My favorite accent? Oh, it has to be French, I think. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. French.
That's what we roll out in the bakers, yeah. French.
Yeah.
So it's a French accent. Oh la la. And the way they move with their bodies as well when they speak.
So, Jess, I'm assuming you're on the end of a lot of this. Just saying.
It's the shit she puts up with, mate.
I could only imagine.
But the solution was to make it into a show.
Yeah.
It's like, well, if you're going to do this,
That's so
Non-stop.
cool.
There's toy G.I. Joes in it as well. My actual toys from a kid. You know those G.I.
Oh,
Joes?
mate, I
Yeah.
definitely know about them.
Yeah,
yes.
the GI grunts, you know, and I played war game. I wanted to join the army when I was a kid, you know. I was like, and then I just had a full flip into drama. It's just like polar opposites.
It's like you were the Captain America,
Yeah, thank you.
Captain Australia, maybe.
Captain Australia, yeah.
Like, you know, jumping on the bomb and
Yeah.
well, maybe not. So if we have some questions that they're hard hitting questions, and these are insightful ones.
Yeah.
We haven't asked any yet until now.
All right.
So I think we'll go John, Jess, Sam. Probably be the easiest way. So John,
Yeah.
if you weren't doing what you're doing now, what would you be doing? And it can be whatever you want.
What would I be doing if I wasn't doing this now? Gosh, that's a big question. Well, as I say, I used to be a journalist, so maybe I'll be doing that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be... I've often thought it'd be nice to, you know, like be a sailor, you know, just like sail around the world, you know, go port to port, you know.
Like in a nice
Yeah.
yacht or powerboat or, you know, whatever.
Yeah,
you can
you know,
do
just-
whatever. There's no
Just
limit
get a job,
to this.
you know, go job to job, you know, one day you're cleaning a boat off and then you're sailing, you know, to Finland or whatever and then sailing on to the Caribbean or whatever. Just life on the seas, life on the high seas.
Well, we've got a pretty close sea here.
Yeah, well, maybe this is what's inspiring me to say that, yeah. This day out on the river. Yeah.
Popeye.
The
It's pretty special.
mystic tour on the river.
Yeah.
Torrens. Okay, Jess?
I think I would want to be an artist, like a fine artist.
Like as in,
Portraiture. Yeah. Painting and
Painting?
drawing.
Incredible drawing.
Yeah. I
Really?
really like
Incredible.
drawing. And that was when I was at school, my teachers all went, oh, don't do drama. Do art. You're better at art than drama. So I did drama. So
Wow,
I'd secretly sort of also like to be an artist.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'd watched a documentary on fake art called Made You Look on Netflix.
Ah, right.
Um,
like forgeries, like forged
yeah.
art. Yeah, right.
Fascinating.
Ah, cool. Maybe
With a
that's what I'll get
Pollock.
into.
Oh, when I saw this painting, I was like, it was speechless, and it was 2 rectangles. And I was like, yeah, it's really in the eye. It's like love. It's in the eye of the beholder. So, good doco to watch. It's very interesting to see how
Yeah.
first that. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Sam?
What would I be doing?
Yeah, what would you be doing?
I'd be running a fish and chip shop on the Greek islands.
Awesome. You know,
That'd be great, wouldn't it? What a life.
that would be great because there's shit fish and chips in the Greek islands.
Yeah.
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 You would do a really
So
good
I'd
job.
do a
of
way
that.
better job.
Yep.
And I'd be just
Like
chilling
that.
out.
You'd be the Pauline Hanson of Greece.
Yeah.
Like,
What does she say? What's her tagline again? What is it?
which one?
Oh, there's the one they made a song out of.
Oh, this will come to us.
It's just not.
No, Pauline
What is
Hanson.
it?
Top. It'll come to us.
They made
But-
a song, remember
Yeah, they did. No, those t-shirts.
that? Yeah.
Oh, Mashing Kutcher. They did the Dan Andrews.
I don't like it.
I don't like it. That's the one. Yes.
Yeah, and her hair is bright red. Like I
don't
saw her
like
at the
it.
airport, and I was like, oh, it's Pauline Hanson. It was so
Yeah.
strikingly red. It was
Wow.
like, whoa.
My fish and chip shop could be called I Do Like It.
I do like it.
I do like it.
Oh, there's something there. There's something there.
I know about that.
Did I know?
So,
Yeah.
so John, what do you wish? Like, if there was the Little John, coming up,
Little John.
Yeah,
Robin
like-
Hood, yeah.
not Johnny because he's naughty, But if there was like the little John coming up through the ranks and you could tell a 16 or 14, 16-year-old kid that wanted to get into acting, get into theatre, get into performance, what advice do you know now that you could say, hey, little John, this is a piece of advice that's helped me to get me to where I am today?
Well, do you know, I'd say just go for it. I'd say it's a fantastic life. You're going to have a great time. You know, don't become a journalist first. Just do it now, you know. Just become just go straight into it. You're going to have a great time. And
that's it. Just go for it.
Yeah.
Sam?
Really
Jess? Sam?
I'd probably say a similar thing. Just do it. And you're not necessarily going to be rich, but if you love it, then you've got to do it. And if you don't love it, then don't do it. I think that's quite useful to know, that if you don't really love sometimes being poor and struggling, but making something you care about, then
that's a good point. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff you could be doing
that's easier and
which is just as interesting and just as exciting, which you could do, which is not quite as hard. So you might as well do that.
There's a fine line, but I could be earning a lot of money doing something I don't love, or do something you love, maybe not earn as much money, but you love it, and it doesn't feel like work. And that, we talk about it all the time. It's about doing stuff that makes you happy. Yeah. And both said that. Sam?
Yeah.
What advice? This is advice. You got little Sam coming up there, the next Rambo, next Mambo.
Yeah, don't join the army, Sam. Yeah. Become an actor. I'd probably say to little Sam, don't second guess yourself too much at the beginning of it all. Like, I feel like I've held myself back a lot at the beginning because I worried too much about what people were thinking about what I was doing. Whereas now I'm like, what I'm doing is fucking great and I love it. And it's awesome. And other people like what I do.
Yep.
And I'm making other people feel good. So let go earlier. But obviously you've got to find that maturity as you go along. But I'd say that's a little Sam. So it's all good, mate. You're doing well.
And a lot of people don't get that advice from someone that can say that. And it's funny, that question, we ask that question of every single person we speak to, and the answers are the same. Just do it. Don't sit there and wait. Don't worry about what mum and dad think. Don't worry about what everyone else thinks. Don't worry about, don't take advice from someone that's not doing what you're doing. Exactly. And that's pretty much, you've got to take that on board. So I love those answers. Now this is a bit more philosophical, this question. I think John's going to know this.
Yeah.
If there is one thing that you could do that would change the world, what would it be? And so you can think about that. You can marinate on that. But you can be like a universal, or it can be a personal.
Well, do you know what? That's funny you should say that, actually, because I've just been reading Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher, Roman philosopher. Just been reading his Meditations, because I thought he was one of the Stoics, which I thought, Stoicism is kind of the philosophy of the age, and that's all about just starting up, getting up in the morning, don't be lazy, just get up, whatever you've got, that's what the universe has given you. So, don't be sad about it, don't moan about it, just get on with it, which if everyone took that attitude, I think we'd all be a lot happier.
Man, that's cool. Wow.
Yeah,
boom!
Hail Caesar!
Hail Caesar! Jess, that's bang on. That's amazing. Everyone's reading those books, I'm sure.
Yeah. No doubt. Yeah.
Is this allowed? Can I
you can say
fix
whatever.
Climate change?
Yeah.
I think that would be really good.
100%.
A solution to, I think, change the way that we all live so that we can live sustainably and bring back biodiversity. And stop this climate crisis, because it's pretty worrying.
Thank you.
That would be my thing.
Top man, Sam.
Sam.
How the fuck do I talk about
Well, you can say what you know what it's not a competition.
No, that's true.
Yep.
That's true.
So
Don't compare yourself to others.
Yeah, that's it.
What I will say is laugh more. let laughter in and let the love in.
Oh,
Because
brilliant.
when you laugh, you love, and you love yourself, and you realise that this life is fleeting, and that it's really actually a hell of a lot of fun, and it's actually hilarious. I think life is really funny, and the shit that we do, and the things that people do, and
Yeah.
you just gotta sit down at a cafe and watch people go by. That's what I love doing in Paris. I'd sit down and you just watch the world go by, and you'd observe people. And oh my God, it's amazing how individual we all are and how funny it is as well. So, laughter.
Laugh. Love it.
Laugh.
Oh,
Laugh.
brilliant.
Have a laugh.
Great answer, yeah.
Uh,
Really true. Yeah.
And we have one last question.
Oh, yeah.
So I know Sam's thinking, fuck, I need to go to the toilet.
Yeah. Have you got a 1 liter so I can fill it up? Yeah.
So Don, this is if you died and came back as a board game, what board game do you think
That's so cool.
would best describe you?
Well, look, let me say, we mentioned earlier, my history of, studying the ancient Middle East. There's a board game called the Royal Game of Ur, which used to be like the game of the world. Everyone in the world would have been playing this. It's like a simpler version of backgammon, which has kind of evolved into other games. It's like the precursor to all
What's
the
it
games of the
called?
world. The Royal Game of Ur. And
Royal Game of Ur.
Ur was a city in ancient Iraq.
How do you spell
You are?
Oh, that's good, because I was going podcast.
you
know what? I wouldn't expect anything else.
Yeah, so anyway, just for the sake of naming a board game that nobody else
He
would
actually
name.
has a job. This is so
Yeah.
spot on.
So cool.
Looks like that.
That's it, yeah.
that's
So
the
that
one.
was rediscovered by
It's a
archaeologists
really cool game.
from a tomb in ancient Iraq.
5-star rating.
5-star rating. That
You got
is.
5 stars.
You know what?
That's why it's a
I
board
wouldn't have
game.
expected anything else
Yeah.
from John.
Yeah.
And no offense to you two here, but
It's okay.
I think he's very highly intellectual.
Yeah.
And
That's great.
and you know what? You can tell. Like we've spoken to so many people coming through, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's
He's an intellect,
Well
yeah.
done to you.
He's quite
Yeah,
smart.
no, thanks for your
It's
support.
pretty
Yeah.
clever.
It's just a British accent. I'm sorry.
You're going to watch this back and you're thinking, what was he talking about?
Well, Jess has got that too. So, hey. So Jess, damn. So, if you're a board game, if you died and came back as a board game, what would best describe you or your life?
I don't even know what the game's called, but I think the one where you have to draw a picture of
Pictionary.
what it is. Pictionary. I've only played that a couple of times.
So
I
you
like
can
that.
sit there and draw. Yeah, I'm down for that. That's a cool game. Yeah, well, you know that Pictionary.
That would be good. Is that the one though where you fold it over and pass it on?
No.
No,
Because
No.
maybe that
So-
one, which isn't a board game, it's just a paper
we
game.
can find one. So I was away. I went to Kangaroo Island.
Yep.
And all of you have your phones out, and it was a game. A word comes up, Jack in the Box. You play it from the TV on your phone. You draw it on your phone.
Yeah.
And then the picture comes up on the screen, and you all have to guess who drew that picture. And you got bonus points for guessing that. Oh, JP drew that or something. So if you, it was really cool. Like it was. It was a long
Sounds
day, but anyway. All right, so Sam, if you were a board game, if you died,
Yep.
and came back as a board game, what do you think would be the board game that would best describe?
It would be the royal game of Jumanji, which is an ancient board game built by the. And every time you hear the drums, you get sucked into the board game, and you become a fucking crazy animal. So that's what I'd be. Yeah.
Oh my God! Well, that's
a good one.
that's a game that I don't think we'll find on Google, but
No, but I love Ron Williams, and he's just a fucking god. And
Jumanji too, how good.
Jumanji too, yeah, with The Rock. Oh,
Pretty good.
and Jack Black. Whoa!
Oh,
So Jumanji would be me. Yeah. Is that okay? Can I say Jumanji?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yes,
no
awesome.
doubt at all.
Because it doesn't really exist, I don't think. But
No.
Oh, they've definitely made a game
whoa,
of
whoa,
it.
they have, haven't they?
Surely, yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
in a couple of days' time, we can watch Coming to America too. So that'll be interesting.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
There you go.
That's true.
So there you have it.
Lovely.
Thank you
Nice
for coming
one,
on
thanks.
board.
Oh, hey, we should pitch on his show before we go.
Oh yeah.
Pitch, 100%
Oh,
pitch.
just the guy who isn't here just before we
Oh, Ollie.
finish up.
Yeah, let's
He's got a
let's talk
one-man
about-
show.
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
Ollie's one-man show?
It's starting in the mill. It's called the Baraque,
Yeah.
and it's just a much see. It's a must see. Yeah, he's like this Swedish like man from Europe. Like 15th century Europe or something in the Baraque.
Syphilis von Hamstring. His name is.
And it's just
It's true.
it's.
I'm not pulling your leg, mate.
Yeah.
Syphilis von Hamstring. Yeah.
And it's just Ollie playing this character, doing weird sort of silly slapstick
Surrealist.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's such a loose, weird, hilarious show.
Yeah. It's just
He
a
runs around in
glorious
tights
clown.
and wigs, and it's obviously mocking the Baroque period of like Louis XIV and kind of
Yeah.
Excess.
Baroque
Is that
music,
Henry,
excess,
is that Henry,
vanity.
eh?
Yeah,
It's that sort of era, yeah.
that era,
exactly.
yeah.
And he
Well
plays
done.
that kind of music and then just does these hilarious skits and tells the story of him breaking up with his girlfriend.
Yeah, it's very funny.
So, it's
Well,
hilarious.
Catch
so
it. See it.
that's
Yeah.
a shameless plug for Ollie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Brilliant.
thought,
Directed by Brittany Plummer as well.
Yeah, of Frank Theatre. She's from Adelaide. And Frank Theatre is an Adelaide theatre company.
Yes.
Yeah. Made here.
Well-
so cool.
Well, it's a pity Ollie's not here.
No.
Yeah, alas.
Like practicing.
Busy man.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
But hey, we got Jess.
Woo!
Probably a bit better to look at an Ollie. Sorry to say, Ollie.
No, he's a very pretty boy.
It's pretty pretty, yeah.
Oh, he's a very pretty boy, isn't he?
Yeah.
So, guys, thanks for coming on board.
Yeah!
So,
Whoa!
I got
Done.
one more. Sorry, I'm sorry. So thanks for coming on board. Well, this, we've sort of been sticking to the studio. It's been cool to go on location in the majestic River Torrens.
Yep.
You guys have been amazing to talk to. It's been so cool hearing the different stories, and you're all been very different stories as well. You've got acts at the Adelaide Fringe in 2021, which is now. I'll say that just in case you're not listening to it this year, but you better hurry up and get in and see them. You've got, I'm sure you're going to do more acts moving on, as long as there's no more COVID.
Yeah.
Will you be staying in Adelaide, or you got to go to the next, you got to go to Sheffield, or you got to go to another Fringe or something?
Yeah, well, I've got to go back. My visa's going to run out soon, so I've got to go back to England, and then we'll see when we reunite.
Reunite?
Yeah.
Sure.
So I'm going to be following what you guys are doing from now on. So these guys are definitely following. We've got lots of people clapping as well.
Thanks for coming out, guys.
And thanks very much for coming on board. Really
Yeah.
do appreciate it.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much. It was great fun.
Thanks,
for having
JP.
us.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And thanks to the captain.
Thanks to the
Rocking up.
captain.
Yeah.